So starting the practice this morning in child's pose. Energetically reaching your arms forward, dropping your seat. And just connecting to a breath. So allowing yourself to just absorb the practice this morning. Let the forehead rest. Integrate the hands, the arms. Feel the sides of the body begin to zip up. And then just tap into your breath. Ujjayi breath. Inhalation is through the nose. Exhalation is also through the nose. A few more cycles of breath. Just allow yourself to just find the space. Feel the tops of the feet press into the mat. Feel the seat drop a little bit more. And then keeping the legs the way they are, what I want you to do this morning is press up onto your forearms. So it's going to look like this. So it's almost like, yeah, you're going to press up onto your forearms. Just pause here for a second. So when you look at your forearms, they're set up for a forearm plank. So your hands are not as wide as they would be in a down dog. They're much more narrow, and the elbows are right behind the wrists. Good. Just pause for a second. Yep. My dad calling me. Okay. Now from here, staying very low to the ground, curl the right toe into the mat so it looks like this. So it's like a forearm plank, a half forearm plank. Then from here, slide the left leg back, so now you're in a forearm plank. Now, if this is just too aggressive for you this morning, drop your knees and take it supported. You'll get just as much from this. Keep the neck nice and neutral. Ground, feel the palms press firmly into the mat. And here, in this moment, just really work on broadening of your upper shoulders. And what I mean by that is like you want to feel as if you can pull your upper shoulders away from one another. And then as you do that, wrap the sides of your triceps in, feel the sides of your waist pull in, contract your thighs, and then drive your energy more forward to the front skinny part of the mat. Keep your neck neutral and just hold. Inhale your breath. Exhale your breath. Take another big breath in, feel through the back of the throat. Exhale, sustain. Good. Right here, see if you can take your right palm and press up so the right hand straightens into a plank position and the left hand straightens into a plank position. Pause in plank. Once again, knees can be down if it's too much. Broaden across the upper shoulders. Feel your hip points pull up. Contract your navel to the back of your spine. Lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Find your down dog. Take up a lot of space on your mat. Feel your outer arms hug in. Press the hands firmly down. Let your head, your neck, your jaw go. And remind yourself that when you are in a down dog, you are core engaging your core. Bend behind the knees as much as you may need. And the same action with your shoulders. The movement is away from the spine. Plug down into the mat. Spread your hands wide. Good. Roll forward to plank. Stack your body. Most likely you found your position from down dog to plank. Without your hips swaying, bring your right forearm down. Do this really slow. Then your left forearm down. You're back where you started. Lengthen. Drop your knees if it's too much. Float your right foot an inch from the ground. Take your right knee in the direction of your right tricep. Do this very slow. It's not going to touch the outer part of your tricep. Float the right foot back. Let the foot hover the mat. Hug the knee in. Hug it straight in. Look forward. Drive down into the floor. Float the right foot back. Lower the right foot. Pause. Lengthen. Float the left foot up. Left knee towards the left tricep, just in the general direction. Float the left foot back. Move slow. Hug the left knee straight in. Broaden. Keep looking forward. Float the left foot back. Left foot comes down, forearm plank. Right palm comes up into a plank. Left palm comes up into a plank. Downward facing dog. Let your breath just flow. Movement and breath together come forward to a plank. Good. Float the right foot up in plank. Drive the hands into the mat. Take the right knee towards the right tricep. Float the right foot back, let it hover. Hug the right knee in. Float the right foot back, let it hover, then lower it to plank. Move slow, float the left foot. Left knee, left tricep, just in that general direction. Left foot back, let it hover. Hug the knee in, do it slow. Float the left foot back, let it hover, lower it to a plank. Lower all the way to your belly. Reach back with your arms, forehead comes down, clasp your hands loosely behind your back. Interlace the hands, take a giant breath in, lift everything up, keep the neck long. Little micro bending your elbows if you know you're a little more mobile. Yeah, even if you're not, it's safe to do that. Keep the neck neutral, lift from the thighs, lift from the knees, lift from the tops of the feet, broaden the shoulders, lift a little higher. Release down, slide the hands back to the lower part of where your rib and your belly button kind of meet. Curl the toes into the mat, fire up your triceps and your biceps, contract your thighs, press to a chaturanga. Re-straighten your arms to plank. Good morning, everyone. Downward facing dog. Look to the top of the mat. Take 2 big steps to get there. Feet are about hips width distance. Bend behind your knees as much as you need. Come to the fingertips, long spine, or hands slide to your shins. Fold over your legs. Do that again. Hands can just rest in the front of your shins or fingertips to the floor. Weight is forward. Exhale, fold. One more. Long spine, create some space, a little arch in your upper back. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, come all the way up. Draw your hands to prayer. With your feet hips width distance, just feel the ground. Contract the thigh bones, let the shoulders draw down the back, soften the face and the jaw. Reach your arms straight up towards the sky. Dive over bent knees, forward fold. Come to the fingertips, long spine, plant your palms. 2 big steps get you to the back. Bend your elbows very slow for a chaturanga. Pause. Drag your chest through an upward facing. Fire up your thighs, point your toes. Downward facing dog, hips press back. Don't think too much in your down dog, just let your body experience it. Press a little bit more into the ground, look where you want to go. You can just take 2 big steps to get to the top, or a light float if you're feeling energized. Long spine, forward fold. Root to rise, come all the way up. Draw your hands to prayer. Drop your arms. Just start to link your movement and your breath. Reach up. Dive over bent knees. Come to the fingertips, long spine. Plant your palms. 2 big steps gets you back unless you want to float. Bend your elbows for a slow chaturanga. Drag your chest through for a nice slow up dog. Take a downward facing dog. Spread the palms. Lift the hips up off your shoulders. Anchor and press down. Look where you want to go. Step or float, feet to the top. Long spine on the inhale breath. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag your hands to prayer. Drop your arms, keep going. Stretch your arms up. Dive over bent knees. Come to the fingertips, long spine. Step or float. Chaturanga, upward facing. Downward facing. You hope that each one starts to feel better. Press into the mat to get a little bit more energy. Look where you want to go. Step or float, feet to the top. Long spine on the inhale breath. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag your hands to prayer. One more. Stretch the arms up, look up. Dive in half. Long spine to prepare. Plant your palms. 2 big steps gets you back. Bend your elbows, slow chaturanga. Upward facing pulls you through. Downward facing presses you back. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Look where you want to go. Step or float, feet to the top. Long spine on the inhale breath. Exhale, fold. Now sit into a chair. Weight goes into your heels. Everyone looks so excited. Yes. Let your seat and your weight move back. Yeah. Lift your chest from your elbows to your fingertips, straighten your arms. Actually, go ahead and do this. Bring your arms back like a set of airplane wings. Have your palms face down. Just pause here. A gentle squeeze of your shoulder blades. Drop your seat a little bit more. Hug your inner thighs together. Now keep all that from your shoulders. Stretch your arms back up. Drop down a little deeper. Fold over the legs. Come to the fingertips, long spine, step or float to your vinyasa. Slow vinyasa though, upward facing, point your toes. Downward facing, hips press back. Glide your right foot forward and pause in a low lunge. Yeah. Be on your fingertips for a moment. Organize your feet here on the mat. Some of us need longer, some of us need wider. Some of us may even need our back knee down, okay? Be on your fingertips here. Grip your outer right hip underneath you and then float the fingertips just from the ground. So the fingertips are just hovering about an inch or two from the floor. Let the chest pull through your body like a little mini up dog. Draw the waist up. Hug the sides of the thighs in. Contract the back left thigh and glute. Good. Then from here, you're gonna bring your arms out. I don't know what everyone's space is in their house, but see if you can make do with a really wide arms. If this is not available, you can cactus the arms. It would look like this. Arms go wide. Breath is flowing. Good. So you're gonna start to move the shoulder blades out and up and then bring your torso up to a high lunge. Working out your balance, your focus, looking forward, gripping your right hip under you, feeling the weight in your standing right heel, activating your back left leg. Drop your arms by your side body like you did in chair pose just a moment ago. 2 airplane arms. If you know your balance is a little rough this morning, a block in front of you will be great. So you're gonna bring your torso forward, move your energy forward, and very slowly find warrior 3. Turn the left thigh down, try not to open the hip, soften behind your right knee, yes. And lift your heart a little higher. If you need blocks underneath your hands, or you prefer the hands in a prayer, that is fine. So it's like a little balancing act. Spark up your left toes and lift from your inner thigh. Pause here, you're almost there. Keep reaching your arms back if possible. Keep your gaze focused. Giant step back, but turn your back foot, warrior 1 with your arms by your side body. Organize your feet the best that you can. You may need to just kind of, work it out a little. Turn your right thigh forward, your left ribs forward, and your left hip, and your right hip back. Interlace your hands behind your back. They're already set up for you. Inhale your breath, exhale, come forward. Now in this humble, I want you just to come down and kind of rest your stomach an inch from your thigh, just an inch from your thigh. Let your right hip reach back to the wall behind you and use the outer blade of your back foot. Let your neck just be neutral with your spine and feel your hips grip in. Stay with it. Press a little bit more into your feet. Hug your right hip underneath you. Feel the sides of your body stay long. Anchor and rise, warrior 1. Stretch your arms up, pause. Sit a little deeper into your front thigh, not your knee. Yeah. Hands come down. Vinyasa. You can always just go right to a dog if that's what you prefer. Upward facing should feel good. Downward facing is where we meet. Slide your left foot forward into a low lunge. Pause here. So take note if you need to drop your knee, organize your feet, the perfect spacing for you. Come to your fingertips and then let your fingertips hover. Grip your left hip underneath you, activate your right leg. So I always say the growth of the pose actually comes from the back leg. Lift your chest a little bit so it's a little bit of an up dog. And then keeping all that in place, bring your arms out if possible. You can cactus them too, if something's going on or you don't have the space. Just pause. So feeling the sides of your body, kind of doing a lot of great work. So from your shoulders, you're going to start to move. The lower half of the body is going to stay. The torso begins to lift and the shoulders lift up. And the arms straighten towards the sky. Your gaze moves forward. These look really good. Yeah. Feel the weight in your left heel. Drop your arms by your side body, palms face down. If you know you need a block, just make sure it's in the front of your mat. Lean your torso forward, press into the standing left leg, start to float your right leg up and back for a warrior three. Do it slow. I have to bend my left leg a little bit in order to find this. Lift your chest a little bit higher, keep the palms facing down. Spin the right thigh down, flex the foot. Stay with it. Feel the weight in your left heel. Spark up your right toes more. Keep the arms reaching back. It's going to help you a lot. The left foot's going to stay where it is. When you step back, you're going to turn your right foot into that 70-degree angle. You're going to stay with your arms back. Just anchor the legs and set up the lower half of the body for warrior one. Lift the torso, arms reach back, clasp the hands. Inhale the breath, lift the heart and the chest, come forward. Find your version of humble. What I'm looking for today is about a hover from your left thigh, the spine staying long, activation of your back right foot, turning of your right ribs, crown of the head forward. Squeeze your outer left hip, hug it behind you. Yeah. And then breathe. You should be feeling something. I feel something. It feels happy. Breathe into the sensation. It's just a feeling. It will go away eventually. Use the outer blade of your back foot. Last little bit here. So anchor your legs. Use the strength of your legs. You're all really strong. Root to rise, arms up, reach up. Warrior one. Should feel some nice blood flow to your fingertips. Nice work. Hands come down, vinyasa or not. Okay, bend your elbows, upward facing point, downward facing back. Look where you want to go. Step or float your feet to the top. Long spine on the inhale. Exhale, fold over yourself. Sit again into a chair. Weight goes into your heels. This is our happy place right here. Tell yourself that. We're just going to fold over ourselves. Come to the fingertips, long spine. Step or float through your vinyasa. Bend your elbows. Take it slow. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Right foot forward, back foot onto its side. Warrior one. If you don't like warrior one, just take crescent lunge. Hands come down to frame your front foot. Plank. And then vinyasa. Upward facing. Downward facing. Land your left foot. Turn your back foot on its side. Warrior one. Nice and easy and light. Hands to the floor. Plank position, you're moving at your own pace. Bend your elbows, upward facing, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out. Stay with it. Looks good, Julie's. Look where you want to go. Step or float your feet to the top. Get there lightly though. Long spine on the inhale breath. Exhale, fold. Sit again into a chair. Weight goes into your heels. Sit a little deeper. See what you can find. Yeah. Dive over bent knees, forward fold. Come to the fingertips, long spine, step or float. Chaturanga. Upward facing. Downward facing. Right foot forward, back foot onto its side, warrior one. Hands come down, plank, vinyasa or not. Your up dog's a back bend, remember. Downward facing. Left foot forward, turn the back foot, anchor and rise. Hands come down, plank position, chaturanga. Upward facing, downward facing, be still. Spread the palms, activate your hands. Firm up the sides of your arms. Look where you want to go. Step or float feet to the top. Long spine on the inhale. Exhale, fold. Sit again into a chair. Think thighs back. Yeah. Weight into your heels. And that helps a lot, kind of like move the energy. Dive over bent knees, forward fold. Come to the fingertips, long spine. You can step or float. Chaturanga. Upward facing. Downward facing. Right foot forward. Last time, warrior one. Hands come down, plank. Bend your elbows. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left foot forward. Turn the back foot, anchor and rise. Hands come down to a plank. Bend your elbows for your chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. In your down dog, okay, you're gonna lift your right leg up, hip height. That's it, just hip height. So what you wanna feel here is your inner thighs kind of hugging together, your left hip moving up and back, and your pelvis staying very neutral. So you're not opening the hip at all. Keep wrapping the sides of your triceps, plug your hands into the mat, and draw your waist in. Hold. Think of the energy in between the thighs, and then lift your right leg a little higher without the hip opening at all. Keep it lifted. Now point your right toes, roll forward, hug your knee, draw it in towards your navel. Do the best that you can with this. The knee is coming in between the two biceps. Keep pressing down into the floor. Hug it tighter. Step the right foot smack in between the hands. Turn your back foot onto its side. We're setting up for a triangle pose from the ground up. So if you do need a block, place it to the outside of the calf. If not, just straighten the leg, pull up in the front of the shin, and it actually feels quite nice. Your back foot needs a nice little turn. Yeah, so that way the hip can go with you and your body can align itself. A little soft bend behind your right knee so you don't go into a hyperextension, and then stretch the left arm up and look up. Couple options, as you know, with your right hand. You can have your hand resting on the front of the shin. It's light though, or the back of your hand can press against the inside of the calf. This is going to give you a little leverage to open up your chest a little bit more. Connect to your breath right here. Feel the two shoulders sliding in opposite directions. Your neck, if it feels stiff for some reason, you can just find neutral with it. Take your left arm, and this is optional, you can wrap it around and take a half bind. So if this feels good for you in your practice today, I encourage you to give it a whirl. If not, just stay in its basic form. The hand can grab somewhere on the inner part of the thigh. Grabbing onto the shirt is another option. Let the side body stay really long. Now keep the half bind, you're gonna look down, move the block forward, float into a half moon with the half bind if possible. The block moves off the front of the right toe, the baby toe, about 6 to 10 inches roughly. With your hand still wrapped around the outer part of the hip, turn your bottom ribs towards the ceiling. Look off your left shoulder towards the sky and spark up your left toes from your inner thigh. If you'd like to bend your left leg in half, go ahead and do that. The hand that's wrapped around your hip, you can remove it from your hip and then reach back and see if you can grab your foot from the outside. So you're just continuing the binding here. And if that's unavailable, just stay in its basic form. You can also just release the arm up or have your hand on your hip. Keep your right foot forward and straight, soften behind your right knee, take your bottom ribs, turn them towards the ceiling. Now remember, when you kick in Shavasana, you're not kicking up, you're kicking back. These look really good. Maybe play with your bottom hand, getting lighter there. Coming to 3 fingers or 2 fingers, or even bringing the hand to a prayer. If you fall, welcome to yoga. Come back and join us again. If you took a half bind, just release to a regular half moon, everyone. Everyone's just in a regular half moon. Keep your right foot forward. You're going to take a giant step back to triangle pose. Try your best. Triangle pose. Triangle pose. Light Effortless triangle. The lift of your side body, the anchoring of your feet, a really long waist. Look to the floor, take both hands down. We're working into a Vashisthasana side plank, so my left palm's gonna go flat. And options for modification is always there. The top leg can bend into a 90-degree angle. Your top foot can stack on top, your right arm can reach up. More advanced pose for today. Reach up big with your right arm. Bend your right leg in half, just like you did in Shavasana. Reach with your right hand and see if you can get hold of your ankle. Side plank with Shavasana. If you kick behind you, your shoulder blade draws back into its socket. Look off your right shoulder towards the ceiling. Spark up your toes. Lift your bottom hip. Lift a little higher. Wherever you are, look down, plank position. Do it slow, bend your elbows and hold chaturanga. Move your weight a little more forward. Stay with it. Drag your chest through for an up dog. Take a downward facing dog. I'm gonna turn because it's easier to see you guys. In your down dog, lift your left leg up, just your left leg. So in life, it's hard to not rush. In your yoga practice, it's important to move slow so you can feel what you're doing. Lift from your inner thigh, spark up your toes, let your head be free, grip your outer arms. Use the strength of your waist and your core. Keep lifting that leg, but lift from your inner thigh, not from where you think you need to go. There's a difference. Point your toes, roll forward, hug your knee in, draw it in nice and tight. The more you look forward, the more your weight's gonna move forward. Take it in a little closer towards your navel, land your left foot down, turn your back foot onto its side, set up for Trikonasana. If you need your block, you're gonna use it to the outside of your calf. I think it's a great way to get into triangle. Yeah, it's safe, it's effective, you can feel what you're doing. If you need to back out, you do that. Your back foot's on a strong angle. There's a soft bend behind your left knee. Stack the two shoulders on top of one another. If you want to do something with your right hand, now's the time to take the hand around and work for that half bind. Grab the thigh, grab the pants, grab the shirt, reach halfway, whatever you can do, look off your right shoulder. Maybe the bottom hand gets a little lighter. You can even use the back of your palm to press against the inside of the calf. Lift the chest and breathe. A few more breaths, we'll move on. So keeping that half bind if it's available, look down. Before you go, make sure your left foot is forward and hasn't turned in. That's gonna be half the battle. Move the block out in front of you, float to your version of half moon. Block's a little off center to the left, just so you know. Lift from that inner thigh, keep the half bind if at all possible. Spark up your toes. Turn the bottom ribs towards the ceiling. Lift the waist. If you want to add the Chopasana, first bend the right knee in half towards the butt cheek. Then, if you think you can grab the foot, unwrap the hand from around the waist and grab the top of the foot. The right arm goes straight, you kick directly into your hand behind you. Get lighter in your bottom left hand. Maybe come to 3 fingers or 2 fingers. Couple more. Regular half moon if you added something fancy in. Stack the 2 shoulders, lift from the inner thigh. Keep your left foot as straight forward as you can. Giant step back, Trikonasana. Triangle pose. Yeah, sometimes it's not so graceful. We try our best. Keep the left foot forward, back right foot is on a strong angle. Lift from the side of your body, look up. Use your core. Your core is all strong. Side of your body is doing a lot of work. Look to the floor, circle both hands down. We're moving to our side plank. So take your right palm, let it go flat, then roll. Modification here would just be the top leg bent. That's one way. Stack the 2 feet. If you want to work in the Shavasana, take it slow. Bend your left leg in half, kick it behind you, and then reach with your left hand. Maybe you can get the bind today. It's not happening for me. Lift from the bottom hip, spark up the toes. Lift a little higher. You got this. Start to look to the floor. Left palm comes down to a plank. Bend your elbows in half, chaturanga. Drag yourself through an up dog, point your toes. Take a downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, slide your right foot back again in between your hands, turn your back foot onto its side, coming into warrior 2. Warrior 2. Take a couple moments to just arrange how you need to be here, whatever that is. Turning up the inner part of your thigh, broadening your arms and chest. Feeling the lift of your side body. And then maybe closing your eyes and just allowing yourself to be here. So there's nowhere to go, just be in the pose. Sit a little deeper. Let your tailbone drop. Feel the weight in your right heel. Use the strength of your back left leg. The last little bit's the most challenging because the arms start to feel it. So see if you can really empower yourself from using the energy from the ground, letting that kind of ride up through your body, and then broadening across the front side of your chest. Be patient with yourself. We're going to move to an extended side angle A. You have the option of taking the modification, your arm on the resting on the top of your thigh. So I like a block outside of the foot. It's up to you though. Top arm's just going to start to reach up. If you're choosing just to have your arm resting on the top of your thigh, soften your shoulder. Turn up the inner part of your thigh. If your hand is on the outside of your foot, use the outside of your leg and press it against the inside of your arm. So you're really making a connection. And because I'm not there to like give you these minute little, these little detail assists that I would normally see in a classroom, you have to be really aware of where your body is, right? Top arm can reach up and forward, only if that feels good for the shoulder. If you get here and you're like, oh my God, I can't breathe, you went too far. Side of your body is getting a lot of work going on. Bottom ribs turn up, look up. And as the feeling starts to get a little bit more intense, just breathe. Stay with it, guys. You look really good. Three more breaths. Look to the floor, circle both hands down. Okay, so your left heel is going to lift up, and if you're going to use a block, we're going to an easy twist. The block can slide to the instep of the foot, left hand down, right arm open. Scissor the right hip underneath you. Activate your back leg and really make sure that your shoulders are free, that they're not turning in. Ride your weight more forward so your energy moves to the crown of your head. Couple more. Look to the floor, take both hands down. So move your block to the side. Straighten your front leg and bump your back left foot in for Parsvottanasana. Now come to your fingertips, soften behind your right knee, and then fold over your right leg. Once you get here, you may decide you want to add a little hand variation. For today's practice, a clasped hands would be really perfect. So that's something that you can offer for yourself, or hands can just stay down and you can just fold. No matter how you're taking this pose, keep letting your right hip extend up towards the ceiling. And your back foot, just remember, I can't see a lot of the back feet. It should be in a warrior 1 foot. So it's pretty turned forward. Let your head go. If your hands are clasped, give it a couple more breaths. Let the hands drop down towards the base of the head. Press into your feet, really strong. Anchor, start to pull yourself up. Slide your hands to your hips, come halfway up, come the rest of the way up. Pause. For me personally, I need to walk my right foot a little to the right. Right hand on hip, left arm extends up. We're gonna go right for a twisting triangle because it's gonna feel great. Inhale the breath, come halfway down, steer your hips back, come the rest of the way down. Block is fantastic. Hand to the front of your shin is another great option. Right hand goes to the flat part of your back. This is your check-in right here. So check in with yourself. If you feel uneven, don't move on, just stay with this. If you feel like you've got it and it's even, right arm can extend up. Twisting triangle pose. If you got lost, that's where we are. Steer the hips back. Press firmly through the outer part of your left foot. Get a little lighter. Breathe a little fuller as you twist a little bit deeper. Look to the floor, place both hands down, step to a down dog, or move through vinyasa. It's up to you at this point. Up dog should feel good. Downward facing dog presses you back. From your down dog, slide your left foot forward. You're gonna come right into that warrior 2. Warrior 2. Take a few breaths, work it out. This is one of the poses we all resist, yeah. But once you find the stance and you really allow your body to be in it, it's really rewarding. Lift your chest. Like you could be in half pigeon all day, but this is opening your hips. This is a great hip opener. It's external rotation of your left thigh. Your back leg is on a strong angle. Let your arms just express openness. And for the last little bit here, just allow yourself to be. Allow yourself to maybe shut your eyes or just pick a drishti. I was teaching a private yesterday and I said to the woman, I said, did you ever look up at your trees in your backyard? And she goes, no, whoever has time. They were the most outrageous trees I had ever seen. And she looked at me and I was like, well, there you go. There's your silver lining. You never stop to pause. The most outrageous trees. Keep your legs the way they are. You're going to move into your extended side angle. Rest your arm on your thigh. And then place a block to the outside of the foot if you're looking for the deeper expression. Home practice allows you to notice things around your house too. Top arm straight up. Maybe the top arm wraps forward. Remember, if your left leg starts to buckle in, that's not a good thing. You need the outer part of your leg to match up to the inside of your arm, right? And if the arm is wrapping forward, make sure you're straight from your elbow to your fingertips. Okay, right here it starts to get hairy. So don't get connected with the feeling. It means nothing, just breathe. Five more breaths. I know you're not happy to hear that. Feel the weight in your left heel, sit deeper. Stay in it, be more efficient, be more effective, think less. Two more. Start to move your gaze down. Both hands circle to frame your front foot. We're going to that easy twist. Rearrange your feet, your back heel will lift. The block comes to the instep. Scissor your left hip in and then take your two arms on top of one another. Nice alternative. Hand can be on the flat part of your back. You got this. Really nice. Look to the floor, place both hands down. Just move your block to the front. You'll need it in a second. Straighten both legs, scoot your back foot in and fold over your front leg. Clasp your hands behind your back, opposite grip, if you did that, or just keep your hands down. Steer your left hip up and back. Anchor your right foot. Make sure it's in a strong warrior one foot. Back leg is strong, front leg has a little bend in it for most of us. Let your head just be free. Press a little bit more into the floor, come halfway up. If your hands are clasped behind your back, just move them to your hips, come the rest of the way up. Left hand on your hip, right arm reaches really big, come up strong. And here we go, twisting triangle. Hand to the front of your shin or block is great. Off center it a little bit, place it up high, make the pose accessible for you this morning. Top arm can stack. So a really challenging posture, but if you've done all the work getting to this point, it should feel pretty good to get into it. Soften the shoulders down your back, and then spin your gaze to the ceiling. Keep steering your hips back like someone's got your hips with a resistance band and they're pulling you. Look to the floor, place both hands down. Move your block to the front of your mat. You're gonna need it in a second. Feet together at the top of your mat. Come to the fingertips, long spine. Fold nicely over your legs. Sit into a chair pose. Weight goes into your heels. I know we're not happy about it, but sit deep. Drag your hands to a prayer. We'll make it as quick as possible. Inhale the breath. Hook the elbow, turn towards the right. Slide the seat back. Keep the thighs together so the knees don't slide past one another. Turn from your upper ribs and then look up towards the ceiling. Maybe you feel like you have it in you to open up your arms today. You can do that. Dig your heels a little bit more into the floor. It's about to get fun now. Keep the shape of your legs, pull around to a chair. Stay with me, guys. Last little bit of hard work. So feeling your right leg firmly into the mat, start to press with your left leg coming up so it looks like this, and just draw your knee towards your navel. So if you got lost, you're standing on your right leg. Yeah, you're drawing your knee to your navel with both your hands. Good. Then keep the lift of your leg. Flex your left toes a lot. Bring your arms up. Just bring your arms up. Feel your right foot. Feel it firm into the mat. Keep the lift of your left thigh. Drop your arms by your side body. Good. You're just going to start to bend your left leg up towards your butt cheek. Now, if you only have the availability for one hand, you're going to grab it with one hand. Ideally, what we're trying to do is take both hands around the base of the ankle, pull the shoulders back into the socket, create a back bend. Soften behind your right knee. So it's a bound warrior 3. Bend into your right leg a little. Start to tip your torso. Don't open your hip. Start to kick your foot up and back into your hands. Your torso goes parallel to the ground. You might find yourself only a little bit moving forward, and that is okay. Ideally, one day we'll come so we're parallel to the ground. Pause here. Don't open up your hip. Keep both your left thigh facing the floor. Keep pressing into your standing right thigh, your standing right foot. So very slowly, your arms are going to start to reach back and your left leg is going to straighten into a warrior 3. If you need blocks, you slide your hands onto the blocks. Hands can also come to prayer. Puff up your chest, ground your right heel. Begin to bring your gaze down. Everybody bring their hands to prayer. Left hand comes down, right hand to your hip. Revolved Ardha Chandrasana. It's a happy day. Good. Begin to twist right. So like I've been talking about the whole practice, lift from your inner left thigh, spark up your toes. Your hand can stay on the flat part of your back or float the right arm up. Maybe look up. Lift a little higher. You got this. Look to the floor, both hands down. Step the feet hips width distance. Good. Separate your feet, actually come into a squat. Yeah, just come into a squat. It's a better release. I find if we go too much forward fold, we end up hurting. Just lift your chest, take a couple cleansing breaths. And then bring your hands to the floor. Feet come back together, heel toe them. Sit into chair, weight goes into your heels. Don't think too much about it, right? Drag your hands to prayer, inhale the breath, hook the elbow, and twist. Keep sliding your thighs back. Yeah, the weight moves nicely to your heels. We're doing great. Open up your arms if you want more. Crown of the head is forward. Stay with me, guys. Keep the shape of your legs. Pull around to a chair. Yeah. So now you're going to press into your standing left leg and hug your right knee in. Just go ahead and grab below the kneecap. Yeah, just stand up really tall and draw the knee in. Do that first. Find your bearing with your left leg. Contract your left thigh bone. Spark up your right toes. Then just bring your arms up. Pause here. Arms reach really big. Yeah. Feel the strength from the ground. Reach your arms by your side body next. Yeah. Then start to move the leg back and maybe grabbing with one hand, or if you can grab both, you got to kind of tuck the shoulder blades, hug them together. That's the back bend. Lift the chest, press into the standing left leg. Definitely bend your left knee a little. Start to hinge. There's definitely a little kick of your right foot into your hands and arms, but your thigh is facing the floor. That's torso. Move it as close to parallel as you can get it today. Keep your gaze forward. Start to reach your arms back. You can let go of the bind. Extend the right leg, warrior three. Use blocks if you need to. Hands can also come to prayer. Make sure you're not opening your hip. Lift from your inner thigh, bring your hands to prayer. Gaze moves to the floor, right hand down, left hand to your hip, revolved artist. Stay with me, this is good stuff. Lift from your inner thigh. Scissor the legs together, twist and look to the left. Two more. Look to the floor, take both hands down, giant step back, low lunge with your left leg forward. Yep, plant your palms, slide the left foot back, downward facing dog. Roll forward to plank, bend your elbows in half, chaturanga. Drag your chest through for an up dog, point your toes. Take a downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward, drop your back knee, slide the kneecap back. Left palm's gonna go flat, right arm's gonna reach up. Then your right arm's gonna reach back. You're gonna bend your left leg in and you're gonna take full pigeon pose. For today's practice, I'm gonna give you some choices. You can keep your right foot driving forward. You can also turn your right foot out a little bit to the right. Roll to the outer blade of your right foot. This is gonna give you more of an outer hip stretch. So either way worked for me today. I just want it to feel good for you. Left palm can stay flat on the ground. You can also place your hand on a block or your forearm can come down. Two ways to take this with your torso. You could begin to twist and look back. That's one alternative. You can also take your right shoulder and wrap it in. Yes, turn your whole body down. That's gonna be more with the right foot staying forward though. Yeah. So if you're gonna turn your whole torso down, straighten out your right foot so your right shoulder snuggles to the inside of your right leg. Yeah. And then you can come down onto your forearm. If none of these are available to you, you're like, okay, this is not for me. Just stay really upright and reach back. Keep wrapping your right hip in. The screen didn't freeze, you're still in the pose. I think everyone who has been practicing Zoom thinks the same thing, like the screen froze. Start to pull yourself up, let go of that back leg. Take both hands to frame your front foot, we're not done. Start to slide your weight back, flex your foot. Walk your hands out in front of you, guys. Yes. Spark up your toes if possible, and bring your torso towards your right thigh and release your hamstring. Let your head go. Nancy, you can slide blocks under both hands to bring the floor up if you need to. Good. Rebend the front thigh. You're in a low lunge. Pop up the back knee. Just step back, down dog. You don't even need to do a vinyasa unless you're dying for it here. You can take it. And then meet me on the left side. Left foot forward, back knee drops. Make sure the back knee is on an angle and you're not jabbing the knee into the floor. Right hand down. Left arm starts to reach back. Bend at your knee crease. See if you can get hold of your foot. Start really basic with this. You can play with the splay of your foot if you want to turn the foot out. You're definitely going to do more of a twist with your torso. If you're going to keep your foot more forward, you can work on wrapping your left shoulder in. And everybody's bodies are different, so we all need different things. So it's good to have options. You can drop down to your forearm. That's it. And breathe. In the moments you get to be still, you awaken. All sorts of things happen. A few more. Two more breaths. Start to let the leg go. Take both hands to frame your front foot. All you need to do is start to slide your weight back. So now you are standing up a little bit more on the front right knee. So you may need to put something underneath. Tent the fingertips, walk your hands forward, and then fold. Remember, you want to feel this in the meaty part of your leg, not up by your butt. Spark up your toes. Rebend the front thigh, curl the toes into the mat. You're in a low lunge. Plant your palms, step to a plank. Plank position, plank position. Drop to your forearms. We started the practice like this, forearm plank. Forearm plank. Lean onto your right hand, forearm side plank, stretch the left arm up. I'm able to keep my right arm forward, but some of us need to turn it a little. You may even need to drop your knee. Lift from the side hips, take your top arm and reach it up and forward. Lift from the side of your body, spark up your toes. Lift a little higher from that bottom hip. Look to the floor, very slow, forearm plank. Very slow, lean onto your left arm, forearm side plank, drop your bottom knee if it's too much, reach your right arm up. Using your core strength here, lift from your waist. To do more core, reach your right arm up and forward. Lift from your bottom hip, look up. Spark your toes towards your nose. Look down, very slow, forearm plank. Stay with me, just 5 or 6 breaths, forearm plank, and then you're gonna walk your feet up for dolphin. Keeping your forearms where they are, start to walk your feet closer. Just a few breaths here, guys, you're almost done. Lift your hips up. Now, if you have an inversion and you wanna go up, there's nothing in your space that's gonna inflict you and causing pain, then you can do that. If not, just start to lift from your right thigh, just like we did in down dog before. Inner thighs come together, left hip and thigh draw back, press down. Lower your right foot, lift from your inner left thigh, lift your leg up nice and high. Let your head be free, press down into the mat. Use the strength of your right leg. Lower your left foot, Pause in your dolphin. If you're upside down, take your time. Drop to your knees, child's pose. Wherever you are, meet me in a child's pose. Last little bit of the practice today. You're just going to press up onto all fours. You're going to slide your knees out and find your way onto your back. So we're going to finish with just a few back bends, and then you'll get some rest and you'll be on your way. So if you need blocks for your back bends, bring them with you. Bend your knees in half. Take your feet flat to the floor. Fingertips line up with the backs of your heels. Lift your tailbone up for bridge. A block is great. If you prefer, take it any direction underneath the flat part of your back. You can clasp the hands and the arms around the sides of the block and create the back bend there. I'm doing it here if you need a visual. Anchor your feet. Lift from your inner thighs. Stay here. If you're ready to move on, come down for a second, reset yourself. If you'd like to move into a full wheel, bring your palms up over your shoulders, your chin towards your chest. Take a giant deep breath in. Exhale the breath, lift yourself up. If you're happy and content on the block or in supported version, go for it. If you just want to bring your legs up for more of restorative option here, yeah. Reg, even flip the block higher. If you turn the block higher, I think you're going to get more flush. Nice, Julie. Turn your thighs in and down and lengthen from the tailbone to the backs of your knees. That would be Julie D. Lift a little higher. Nice. Exhale the breath. If you're up, you can come down. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. One more, just because we can. Flip your palms wherever you are, or bridge pose. If you're on a block and your legs are up, keep them there. Giant breath in. Exhale the breath. Here we go, going up. Yeah, this one is the best one because it's your final one. You know you're done. Turn the thighs down and under. Turn your feet forward. And then when you get up, see what you can find. You got it. Nice, one leg at a time. Flex the foot. Good, broad in here. And then to come out, if your legs are straight up, bend them in half. Take the feet flat to the floor. Once your feet come down, remove any objects out from underneath your low back. And then take your feet as wide as the mat, everybody. Let the knees knock in. This just recenters our pelvis and our sacrum. And then from here, grab the outer blades of your feet for a happy baby. Pull the knees down around the rib cage. Lengthen the tailbone, broaden the upper shoulders and the back of the neck. And then bring the legs in. Take the block in between the thighs, guys, the long direction. Yeah. Lift your hips, move them a little to the left, and then drop your knees. And someone asked me this question. You want your knees and your hips to all be in one line. So up higher than you think. Use your right hand and rest it on the top of your left thigh. And then have your left arm kind of like a cactus arm. So keep that shoulder blade down. Roll through center, keep the block, shimmy your hips a little to the right, and then drop your knees all the way to the left. And then find your right arm, make sure it drops down. Come through center, remove the blocks, set yourself up for Shavasana. I've been kind of into taking Shavasana with something under my head. I don't know, it feels good. So you can just place a little bolster or a block under your head. Just make sure your chin isn't all the way tucked or all the way jutted out. It's neutral. Turn the palms open. Let your low back just melt into the floor. And now's your chance to just let it all go. Complete rest. Loud sigh breath out. I can't hear you. Bring your arms up over the top of the head, full stretch. Reach or hug your knees to your chest. Sit up nice and tall. Fine, I'm not offended. Sit up really tall. Thanks for making the time for yourselves. Bring your hands to a prayer. Have some gratitude for that and for our bodies. Lift our head, open our eyes. Namaste. Thanks for sharing this time with me. See you